Good morning to you, my friends, wherever you may be in the world today. Alan Clements here from Hawaii. Today, October 6th, 2021, I welcome you wherever you may be in the world. May I encourage you in the way that I encourage myself to make our lives an expression where there is nothing too small or incidental to anoint with our experience, our hope of what religion means to you, what Dhamma means to me, what living the best life in expression feels like on the most heart-centric level. I see nothing more important personally. Now, yesterday I shared a sequence of points on my personal approach to dealing with the pandemic. There are many. Sort of 10 guardian states or feelings of mind and body and life as reference points. That's it. The reference points within the hour, in the day, within the week, for training ourselves, training myself more and more so to come back to, abide in, within the experiential capacity to embody immediacy in the sensory phenomena of the present. The experiential immediacy to embody sensory phenomena in the present. Life. The Dharma life, the yoga life. That list, the frailty of life, the beauty of friends, the beauty of true friends at this time, all times. Could we say enough about the attributes of showing up, going the extra mile, the extra 10, the value of the Dhamma, the cry of empathy, my feelings personally at times of being frail, of being flawed, of being conscious, a remembrance that we are human and we must live within the very complicated confinement an expansion process of inner and outer being, and learning how to occupy interiority wisely for the benefit of our own peace of mind and the well-being of our immediate circumstances, our family, our friends, our expression of embodied God. To abide in nuance and that deeper quest that we feel at times for higher order frequency, that place in us, that very special place that wants to play in dimensionality, in wonderment, in awe, in making the moment, the hour, a sacrament for taking it higher. The discovery of our own inner physics meeting life and the prism of nuance, of subtlety, of detail. I love that about meditation. And remembering artistry and that timeless craft of biological, cognitive conscious shifting, not shape shifting, but consciously engaging the artistry of interior space with purposeful presence, so that we feel more and more energized, if you will, that there is no time off from the occupation of the holy, the luminous, the experience of the epiphany made real through the roots of our DNA into the substratum of this infinite ocean of inner beingness and outer beingness, configuring through the filament of your life, my life. Wow, wow, wow. And to engage that cognitive, biological playground of horror and death and disease and cancers and aneurysms and lust and orgasms and play and joy and delight, spectrum, shape-shifting, creating and crafting with that epic dance in the moonlight, that naked cry of joy to the lover inside and outside together in the uniformity of now. Those very rare, beautiful moments where there's harmony, the quest for that level of unity of beauty inside being met outside, the kiss, the timeless kiss. The power of feelings and the holiness, for me personally, of wisdom. I'd promised yesterday to talk more about this quality of punya in the Buddhist Pali language, but may or may not happen. But soon, that capacity of the eye and the heart simultaneously, through the filament of hard-earned experiential knowledge. I put my hands on the heart of the space that I was within, and I felt its nature, feelings. People have often asked me over the decades how to describe meditation. And I would say personally, among many responses, the art of feelingness, but rightly. The purity of just that which is present in that time frame of being, feeling it. And what a challenge not to run or grasp immediately, but to pause the conditioned memory bank of habit, not to denigrate habit, and the convergence of habit with instinct to sleep, to rest, to recline, to walk, to talk, to emote, to change postures, to think, to feel, to adventure, to be curious, to bathe, to stay clean, to eat, to nurture the needs of the mind and the body and the heart and the soul and the deeper textures of this embeddedness that we're in. And pause to feel, the pause to take time to simply to feel. I often wonder, like, what do I really, truly feel? I know how I react at times. I know how other people act. I know that I'm radically imperfect, to state the not so obvious to me because of my own denial. But to pause and to actualize a greater capacity to this experiential immediacy, another way of talking about feelings and the appropriateness and the suitability of embodying with clarity the rightness of the feeling, the texture of the feeling, the characteristics of the feeling, the function of the feelings, the proximate cause of the feelings, the near enemy of the feelings associated with sensory perception in the present, and learning that fine Dharma art of discerning, of discernment, to know and to feel that which is truly beneficial for the heart, to feel and to allow a greater love with peace, of ease, of relaxation. If we could say only one thing today, what would it be to me? Reduce, evaporate the anxiety from time. Just tracing back the radiance of that anxiety, not to demonize it, not to either or it, but to learn to see it, feel it, I dare say. I know in meditation to love, to truly, not love in the sense of embrace or just simply to accept, but to see and feel the dimensions of the spectrum of consciousness and sensation within the mind and body, with that heart of learning. That's where it comes back to me. The courage to learn from consciousness in the interplay of my own inner beingness with the multiplicities of secondary identities, of repressed personalities. There isn't obviously just one person inside of your mind. There isn't just two people inside of consciousness. There could be an infinite amount of identities within the filament of this singularity, if you will, and the multiplicity and the complexity of coming to terms more with this flow of mind. And lastly, what did I say yesterday? To blaze on with fearless love. I'm very reluctant to use the word fearless, but I do use it. It's a suggestion to be at the front edge of refusing to let complexity denigrate me with something inherent in it as wrong for me, and to challenge that ancient attitude. From where it comes, I do not know, but I do see that when I empower a wrong view lens on the phenomenology of present time immediacy with the sensory phenomena of that which is occurring now, I contract and I denigrate myself. And when I'm really weak, I'll blame others and denigrate others, or rise up in my postured, unrecognized attitude in that moment to belittle, to act more prominent than him or her, that sense of unrecognized pride. And so, to state the obvious, but so often disguised, we're in this birthness, rebirthness called life, and transitional timing called aging, and then mortality and discontinuity. And those of us who've been, I should say, taking up the primordial challenge of trying to understand without inheriting limiting spiritual concepts. So easy to inherit, to wear on, without really experientially exploring and deeply inquiring, does this fit and why? Does it enhance what I feel it should do? Can I be honest with my feelings? To the blaze on with fearless love is just a radicalization, if you will, of all things good, true, and beautiful, and to constantly, as much as I can possibly, embody the word constancy. Live at the front edge of my hope and action, my vulnerability without fear of denigration, my courage, my adventure, my wonderment, my in this moment nowness to, be open to earth-shattering insight, the holiness of wisdom, the embodiment of the surprise, the existential epiphany. Epiphany seems to have that radiance that it exceeds even your highest hope. It delivers both immediate and a more sustained, developmental, time-release, insight, wisdom embodiment about the person you're with becoming even better than your dreams. That's the beauty of meditation that I've seen, is that you are better than even how you think of yourself, even in the best of your times, because pride is really a false evaluation of your own depth. It misleads. But insight, merging with the overtures of wisdom, the relaxation for me, wisdom of fear, the relaxation in that time frame of grasping, of greed, and the wisdom that relaxes wrong view, ditthi. Those delusional fictions that seem to be inherent in the birth stream of being. So that list is just simply an overview of yesterday's sharing, brought a little bit more into clarity, perhaps today. I got up earlier this morning and went to the beach, and the tide was really so-called low, although from an ocean's point of view, it's probably just micro inches different. And there were the turtles. There was just a small wind. And there was just something about just being in the light, the journey into the light, and just walking and feeling, and quite frankly, enjoying and being humbled by the awe spectacle. I don't know if you've been out in nature recently, where it's truly epic and magnificent. Here where I'm blessed to be temporarily, the beach that I go to, the Baby Beach Baldwin area of the island, and walk, there is magnificent vistas of infinity. I'm stating the obvious probably everywhere on the planet, even probably in the darkest dungeon of delusion, we can stick our eye out at times and see infinity. But here on the beach, the magnificence of the colors, the illusions at play to give those color spectrums life that isn't in the water itself, but refractions of light. And you have these mystical rainbows that are so easy to paint fantasies and prayer wheels of hope and destiny. And of course, there's one of the most magnificent natural phenomena that we can see on the planet, so it seems. And it's been so much anointed with the wonderment of the children's book of timelessness, the rainbow. And the rain and the drops and the wind and the people. There's just something about that daily now, twice daily, hour and a half meditation of movement through eternity. It's giving me a sense of timeless awe and making the vulnerability and the preciousness a little bit more poignant. Feelings. And so today, quickly, before I run out of cognitive steam, just a list that came to me both last night and this morning of just refuges. I love that word, refuge. Taking refuge within the experiential, felt enactment of the state in context. We eat food, we drink liquids. The Dhamma, we eat Dhamma, we drink the fluid of liberation. We embody the radiance of the states of mind. We color on the palette of shared space the creations through our ability to understand the energetic colors of consciousness. We paint, anoint, play, personify, create challenges and nuances and juxtapositions with ideas called comedy and gallows humor and satire and sincerity and transparency and truthfulness and honesty and intelligence and kindness, all states of mind, these refuges. Let me go through the list, if I may, with you and end. 1, be mindful. 2, the little things. 3, something that I'm learning more of, smile. You know, for those of you who walk on the beach or walk in your life or live in the wisdom of the smile, not an easy thing to denaturalize ordinary, but to embody the front edge of a physical expression of self-respect, joy, and the smile. On the beach, people often will look in a very curious way and frequently with a gesture of the hand or the eye or the mouth and the face, smile. And it's quite beautiful, quite nurturing, along with the elements of this God palace, horror temple called existence, can never separate the masses around the world who suffer at this moment. The horrors of imprisonment and torture. It's just unimaginable, the circumstances that we're in. Be mindful, the little things, smile, give back. Give back something special. Take refuge in dignity, in principled ethical etiquette, a high value presence. 6, I was talking to my dear friend the other day, and we came up with a shared concept called proactive courage, leaning into the forward vision of expression, stepping outside of comfort zones and playing a little bit further out in possibilities, proactive. Look into her eyes and anoint the space with unconditional respect and kindness. Feel the sensitivity of the human interaction with grace. Imagine what you could do in the next creation of the final chapter of your book yet written. What will you do to anoint that final frontier with the most fine expression of your entire existence? Leave a note, a sonnet, a song, a sutta that just obliterates ordinary because it's true to you. proactive courage, leaning into life. Many of you know that I yearn to get back out there. I've been talking to this flat screen called You and I through digital time and space. Mwah! Where are you, physical beingness? Not so easy today to just say yes to physical contact, but I am looking clearly on and into the possibility of getting back into a digital space, and even here at the MAC, the Maui Arts and Cultural Center, to possibly do a show at their outdoor amphitheater. In fact, I'm going to be proactive today in my courage and call Candy and ask her how she stands with my email and see what can be created. Number 7, take care of the home. Take care of the body. Oh my goodness. Take care of the body. The little things about the body and the mind, the home, the body, and the mind. Boy, we could talk a lot about that. A favorite topic of mine, number 8 here, is support the children. Not as secondary emerging adults, but just wise entities that just happen to be smaller in form in comparison to larger informed creatures. So much breathtaking wisdom, heartfulness, joyfulness, beauty in the children, right? And help support them in your own unique way. It doesn't have to be your child, but to do all that we possibly can to support them in one of the most complex things that we all struggle with as adults is your voice, finding your voice. And it's not just one voice, but finding your voice and the willingness, the heartfulness, and the courage to use your voice. Let the children use their voices. Support them in using their voices, making their life an expression of their dignity, their art, their conscience, their crazy, maddening playfulness to discover the nature of their own mind and body in context to this craziness, the children. And wow, living our lives through the fidelity filter of freedom. Freedom is so ever present today. Marches for freedom, anti-mandate cries, quests for freedom, sanctity of mind and body, of one's own temple, consent on what I wish to put in and not put into my mind, my body. These unnecessary intrusions by media, by government, by oligarchs, by algorithms, worse than secondhand smoke, digital misinformation, digital propaganda, manipulation. It's the new disease of our time, totalitarianism through 5G. We must be very, very careful with the unrecognized susceptibility of consciousness and those qualities in consciousness that act as Velcro, where we grasp onto forms of manipulation that then embed in us and, like an algorithm in our own mind, censor us, become more obedient. And next thing you know, we have been commandeered into a kind of organic, mind-controlled puppet of what? Transhumanism, of ads and clicks and buys and views and swipes and emotionality, serfs and slaves and robots. I mean, what is the future of life? What is being created here within the embodiment of mind and body? So this issue of freedom. I was blessed to have really talented, I feel in my own humble assessment, Kalyanamitas, the Buddhist Pali word for men and women unwilling to collude with you, ferocious in their love, fearless love, to stand up to your postured, habitual, delusional denial. We all have it. And to question that place in you where you deny your responsibility to freedom, both inside of your own mind and freedom that comes with being embedded in a culture of democracy and human rights and environmental rights and the love of nature and the protection of the environment for the sanctity and the future of life. We have a responsibility, to state the obvious, but how well do we live in the power of freedom, the freedom of thought, freedom of mind, the freedom of conscience, the protection of another person's rights, who's unable to protect her body, unable to protect her village. We're in this together, and the deeper I feel that my love of freedom, the more I'm willing to be proactive in my courage to protect and elevate both the freedom of others and the future of freedom beyond this time and place on this precious planet called Earth. And 9, tenacity, determination, patience, fortitude, discernment, that combination, that recipe. How well can we feel into those states and know how to bring them to the forefront of our presence when needed? And allow me here to end with, keep your eye on the goal. That's it. Keep your eye on the goal. I think there's something very powerful about goals. I mean, as producers, as directors, as beings embodied in form, we have visions. Everything that we have came from seemingly nature and the mind. There was the support for enlarging one's ideas. This keeping your eye on the goal isn't so much an endpoint alone. Visionary expansiveness, like I've been blessed to live deep inside based upon how easy it would be to overlook. I want to do that too. I want to learn to use my voice in a medium where I can say anything I want to say, anytime I want to say it, in the way that I want to say it, and give embodiment and voice to freedom of mind without the need to entertain you on your terms. Just to really hear myself be in liberation. And that takes an expansive courage for me to keep pushing outward and inward to find more compelling expressions of originality. So although I've been writing books and spoken word albums, it's not knowing so much what the outcome will be, but just continuing to have a visionary dedication to a goal, which is the actualization of higher value frequencies and creativities and more risky expressions of nuanced information that's original and novel to your own sensibility of how you determine creative intelligence, ethical courage, and the future of love and freedom. Navigate wisely. So, from my heart to yours, thank you for taking the time to be a part of these spontaneous explorations of shared space, of mind, of Dharma. I'm dropping back down in to where am I finding that creative edge. There's a place in me that wants to keep pushing. I think that's why I'm speaking more slowly and deliberately, because I don't want to speak at, but to look around inside and to trust that cadence and speech and timing and tone and intonation and mannerism and meaning all converge in the poetry of how well I can embody the experiential nature of the felt experience. Let me close there. Be mindful of the little things as I smile and give back something special. Experiential immediacy. That's it. Let me close here with unpostponed presence is one thing. Unpostponed mindful presence is another. In meditation, we were encouraged to immediately retrieve with grace and self-respect the wandering mind, the impure mind, the mind that was beginning to acquaint itself yet again with the habit of indulging in artifice, in fear, in shame, in narrowness, in self-conflict, in impatience, in hostility, in greed, in doubt, in desire, in blame, in anger. Refuse to participate. The immediacy of that refusal, high, mindful, courageous presence. Equally, one of my struggles has been to actually embody greater strength. I've got a shadow that likes to believe that the strength will be actualized at some point in the future, rather than, okay, this is the moment for that future to arise. Make it real in yourself right now. Experiential immediacy of the felt textures of sensory phenomena in the present. That's the artistry of studying states of consciousness. I cannot say enough for me personally. I don't know about you, but meditation off the cushion, yoga off the mat, Dharma all times, all places, all states, all postures, all forms of crises and complexities and challenges, means embodying the experiential immediacy of that which is present, equally deliberately through mindful choice-making artistry, engage the states of consciousness that you choose to bring forth on the palette, on the stage, on the hour, the minute, the moment of your own life experience. Be in choice and learn the textures of anxiety, learn what proximate causes give rise to that level of stress. Eliminate. That's discernment in action for me. Learn to challenge and eliminate. I use the word eliminate habit patterns that denigrate. The purification of mind. I'll end with a quote attributed to the Buddha. O nuns and monks, seek your own salvation with diligence. So rad, I love that. Nuns and monks, seek your own salvation with diligence. By oneself alone is one defiled. By oneself alone is one purified. I think it may very well be that comment attributed to the Buddha, that theme is what is the core entelechy, I think, moving my instinct for freedom. Self-responsibility. I want to learn that more fully and to be more adept, getting more and more adept, more skilled, more natural in the inhabiting of creative, mindful expression and give back. Give back to the earth, give back to the galaxy, give back to the cosmos, give back to the future of freedom, give back to the evolution of totality, to give back. I mean, art and generosity, acquiring benefits in value in our own life, to give back. If right now, even just among our friends and families, we're just to dedicate the day to giving back. I am the recipient of a beautiful mind who's giving me something special, a home, a temporary refuge. I am being given financial resources by some to support my day-to-day existence, food, clothing, electricity. Imagine how much more we could give. I'm just thinking to myself here of like, how can I give back more today as a way to release the stress, the anxiety of mortality, or the stress inherent in the conditioning of wanting desire met through pleasure and security, all natural. How to give back. How to give back. I'll leave that question for myself today. How to give back more, and to give back unconditionally. So from my heart to yours, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being in my life. We have some good things that are coming soon, that are in the making. The World Dharma 2.0 video course that's been filmed and edited will soon be up on YouTube, offered freely. I will also offer a bi-monthly free Zoom World Dharma Forum dialogue and question and answer 90-minute period twice a month coming up. I want to meet people in an interactive way. If I stay on island, and who knows where and when and how that could happen, I'd like to do live groups again, to be in the company of others. I hope that comes to be. And there's a couple of new books. My children's book is still being illustrated by my friend Heidi. An angel appeared in my room last night to give hope to the children and to wake in the morning with courage and wonderment and awe and self-respect, a little help for the kids, and another spoken word albums. And I'm headlong into a film. I'm really pulling out all the stops to do what I possibly can to offer what little I have in my heart and mind freely to others to use to their interest level. So from my heart to yours, thank you for being in my life. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 here from Hawaii.